Welcome to the Student Sparks podcast, where naturopathy meets neuroscience. I'm Parker Malev, the naturopath.
And I'm Emma Johnson, the neuroscientist. Join us on this adventure as we delve into the depths of nutrition, nature, medicine, and the mind.
Where every insight sparks discussion and debate.
Thank you everyone for joining us on our very first episode of the Student Sparks podcast. We're going to start off by just chatting a little bit about ourselves, how we got into our specific professions, studying physiology and neuroscience.
So normally podcasts interview other people. Today we're going to interview each other so you guys know a little bit more about us and what we do and what we like to do, because that's important when you're trying to take advice from someone.
And also just getting to know people is fun.
That is true. All right, Miss Emma. How old are you and where are you from?
I am 19 years old.
You're still 19.
Yeah, I turned 20 in April.
What a baby.
Well, I mean, that's kind of accurate. You're married and I'm 19.
I am married, but I'm also 20, and I just turned 20. So why did we start the show? I think we started the show because there's a lot of prejudice against students and their knowledge, and there's a lot of students that know more than a lot of people give credit to, and research is important. So I think if we mix the concept of students actually putting the information that they learn in school out there, there'll be more people involved, and it reaches more demographics, and more people will just learn things.
Yeah, I think students are looked down upon because they're not yet professionals.
Right, because we're not there yet.
But we're half professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have been studying what we're studying for years. It may not have been a decade, but we're progressing to that. So
we have the book knowledge,
right?
But experience isn't everything. I know it's a lot. Experience is a big part, but book knowledge is still knowledge. It still gives you the start for completing accurate research.
Yeah. And I mean, even just like talking about the book smarts helps you, especially in like a setting like this where we're hopefully phrasing it to help other people understand, just sort of solidifies that knowledge even more within ourselves, and also helps other people learn.
Yeah, the people who can teach the best learn the best. That's what I
love that line.
Thank you. I didn't make it up, I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
I did pull it out of my brain.
It came to you in a dream?
Yes. That was dawned on me by God himself.
So, Parker, what is your program of study?
So my official title is a Bachelor of Science in Alternative Medicine. It's the same as pre-med, it just adds more natural science classes like herbology, detoxification, stuff like that's focused more, like I literally have a class, the detox and healing class is just liver and kidney processes. It's super cool. But it just looks at the same things from a different perspective. So it's still in the realm of health science, but it veers off course a little bit from what is typically observed, and I really, really like that. And I know that you were interested in medicine too, but you had a couple of different tracks that you were thinking about going down. So what is your official schooling title?
I'm gonna achieve a Bachelor of Science with a double major in psychology and biology on a neuroscience track.
Oof.
Yeah, it's a lot. I might get a minor in there, who knows.
Oh my gosh, you're going to kill yourself.
No, it's like all the classes that I'm taking just like happen to correspond with a minor, so I might just like throw it in.
Yeah, that's nice that they let you do that.
Yeah.
It's a good mix.
It's really easy. You just like send in a form that's like, here are the classes that I took, give me a minor. And they're like, okay.
That's nice. I wish mine would do that.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Mine has this equivalent hours of a registered nutritionist.
And you can't count it, though?
I can if I take the exam. I just need 2 years of, like, practical experience after I take the exam. And I don't necessarily have time for that, because I do want to go to medical school. Oh, yeah. So I guess that segues right into what do you plan to do with your degree?
Yeah.
For me, I want to go to medical school. I want to be a naturopathic physician. I did originally think I would do normal medicine, or allopathic medicine, as it's called. But it's just it doesn't work out for me specifically. And we'll go into more detail about that later. I will specifically about that area, my decision to veer off that course, but I do want to go to naturopathic medical school, working towards it. It's impossible to find an entry-level job, though, without 10,000 years of prior experience.
Oh my gosh,
So we'll
yes.
see.
It's so annoying.
We'll
It's
see.
like you need to get the experience, but to get the experience, you need experience.
Exactly.
It's like, okay,
it's a big loop, and right now I'm like considering getting my phlebotomy license just because I need something. They won't take me because I don't have my bachelor's, but I won't have my bachelor's for another year and a half. So that's about what I want to do with my degree when I get out, if I can find a job, in the meantime. But what about you?
So I switched around a lot. I used to be pre-med, hoping to go to medical school and study neurology, just because I had an interest in, like, migraines and stuff like that, weirdly enough, and, like, children's diseases in neuroscience.
Oh, you wanted to go into pediatrics at one point?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, neurological pediatrics.
That's cool.
Yeah, help kids with, like, migraines and seizures and stuff.
So what did you transition to?
I transitioned, so I realized I don't like people as much as I thought I did. So I took a class that was like an introductory bio class that I had to take for the neuroscience track, and it was all about like macrobiology, so like ecology, evolution, behavior, all that kind of stuff, and it sort of like sparked something that I didn't realize I'd like shoved down. But, like, I love animals so much, and I love, like, especially marine animals, and, like, I feel like every little girl wanted to be a marine biologist at one point.
No, not me. I hated the ocean more than anything, and it's so funny that we're doing this together, because I love the ocean, I love the animals, you will not catch me in it.
Oh, wow.
You will not catch me in that ocean.
All right, let me rephrase. Every normal little girl wanted to be a marine biologist.
I ate dirt, guys. I ate dirt.
We ate dirt together.
Did we?
Yeah, remember?
Oh my gosh, we did. Anyways, moving on.
But
So,
yeah.
Is that why you chose to be, to go into that field besides being a doctor? Like, you're still, because I remember from high school you were so interested in all things biology and human biology specifically.
Yeah. I don't really know what caused that change. I have no idea. But there was just like this sort of switch when I took that class where I realized, like, I mean, it would be cool to be a doctor, but I think I'm more called to like research and learning about other animals so that we can understand human biology as well.
Yeah, and dealing with animals and not people.
So that's sort of how I got into animals instead of humans, but I know, Parker, you're still really interested in like human biology and especially obviously naturopathic biology and medicine. So why naturopathic instead of like osteopathic?
Yeah.
And can you explain the differences between the two?
So osteopathic is essentially right in between ND and MD. Osteopathic, they still believe in the whole picture of the body, which is essential for all forms of medicine. And I actually really, really wanted to be a DO. Osteopathic is the same as DO. I really wanted to go into osteopathic medicine. Only problem is, I am married. I want to have a life, and I want to have children, and I want to have freedom over where I live and how I work and what my hours will be. And DO still has the same requirements as MD when it comes to residency and hours and such. So just purely lifestyle choices. It's also more expensive. I think they do really good stuff, and they have a lot of opportunities that I would like to tap into eventually. But the lifestyle side of it, I have to kind of have to compromise. Even though ND is kind of perfect for me, I still, sometimes I still think of that DO, like, it's a nice little spot. It's a nice little deal over there. But yeah, it's the lifestyle.
Would you ever like consider going, once you like settle down a little bit more, going to medical school just for like the title so you can practice wherever you want?
Potentially, but I think the avenue I might take instead is pioneering naturopathic medicine for being more accepted and having more opportunity, because it's still medical school and it still has residency. It's just you get more choice over where you go and what you operate as.
Have you thought about like how you might pioneer that? Like, do you think you want to go into more political?
I hate politics, but I really have strong opinions against how the government runs our medical system. Mainly, not necessarily our government, but the business side of medicine and how it's kind of taken over people's choice and how people can control their own health. It's really, really put a damper on that. And there's a huge lack of transparency with a lot of it too. So I think my avenue would just be through, I know Florida specifically has a bunch of ambassador groups where you can join, you can donate, and they're working on the legal aspects of making it acceptable to insurance. And like chiropractic in recent years has been, like my dad is military, and he was just telling me about how his his veteran benefits includes a chiropractor.
Oh, wow.
So the Navy is paying for him to get chiropractic help, which is huge because the last 10, 15 years, that's unheard of. Acupuncture as well is now being prescribed. I'm doing air quotes, can't see it, but air quotes prescribed, as in like a therapy to be done within another treatment field.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a great way to start. Is just if we can do enough research and we can push out information that's like, guys, this stuff is not dangerous if used properly, and it's not a threat to business. There's still business behind it, but the problem is you can't put a patent on nature, so it's not as lucrative as, say, any kind of other drug that's FDA approved.
Yeah,
that's the real it's the real problem I have with it. I know this is more of a personal opinion, but it's just pharmaceuticals and their ability to put patents on things, and then they can hike up the price. That's where I draw a line.
Like with insulin in
Yes.
California?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a perfect example. That's something people need to live.
Do you think it would be better to have, like, the government take more control and make sure that people aren't doing that, or take less control so that... Because it's like that weird sort of in-between.
Right. So that would play more into your own, like, personal political beliefs, which I don't really want to get into fully. But I tend to like having more control myself. I would say less control, more research. Because then at least the information's out there, and then people can make their own choices based off research and not whether or not the government deemed it safe or not.
Right.
Because, I think the statistic I saw recently was we have like 1,000 mainstream drug recalls a year. And this isn't supplements and such, it's just general medications, over the counter and otherwise, recalled. I think that if more people knew about the ingredients and the processes and where things are derived from, there'd be less need to restrict things anyways.
I also think insurance has a huge, like, damper on the types of medications people can get, because like doctors will prescribe something that they think is the best answer, and that they think is the most safe, but the insurance will be like, oh, we don't cover
we won't
that,
pay for it, so you shouldn't recommend it,
and then you'll get a drug that's recalled later or isn't the best for their health or anything like that.
So that's why I'm going into ND, because there are plenty of doctors. There are plenty of typical doctors.
Isn't there a what's the word?
Oh no.
A shortage of doctors right now?
There is, but I'm saying like the ratio.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, compared to NDs.
Sorry.
Okay,
let me specify. Comparatively, there are plenty of doctors. There are plenty of nurse practitioners, physicians, people who... I don't think nurse practitioners can prescribe medicine, can they?
They can.
They can.
Nurse practitioners can. Physician's assistants cannot.
Okay, that was the distinction I was looking for. Yeah. There's plenty of people who can prescribe and who are knowledgeable about common drugs. They're the art of herbal medicine, dietitians, people who can utilize more normal lifestyle changes to elicit a change in somebody's life. There's less people who are doing that in an actual research, science-based setting.
Right. And do you think that there should be like an equal amount that are working in tandem, like with a patient? In like a perfect world, would a patient have both an ND and an MD and a chiropractic?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's one thing I want to specify, is that emergency medicine is perfected. You know what I mean. It's set. It's great. They do great things. But I'm going to bring up a principle that I actually learned from his name, Dr. Patrick Flynn, the founder of the Wellness Way franchise company. I don't normally like franchises, but I think they do a great job. Their concept is carpenter, fireman. If you have a burning house, the fireman's going to put out the fire and the carpenter's going to rebuild it.
Right.
the carpenter's job is to make sure that that fire doesn't start again with how well, the house owner is supposed to keep that fire from starting in the first place. But if it does happen, you go put the fire out, and then you rebuild. And I think, like you said, I think ND, contemporary medicine together, work great. If we can maybe fix some of the drugs that we have.
Yeah.
Depending on the illness. Honestly, all of this depends on the illness.
Right. So we talked a little bit about insurance and like FDA approvals of medication stuff. What do you think about supplementation? Because a lot of supplements are not FDA approved, so then doctors can't technically prescribe them.
Yes. Yeah,
and there's not enough research behind them, because anybody can throw something out and say like, oh, this is a creatine monohydrate, but if it's not third-party tested, it can have whatever they want in it.
It can come from wherever else too. Yeah.
Right.
That's the problem. I think we need to have more requirements on how businesses label their products, because that would eliminate the lack of transparency.
Right.
As for the regulation of the product actually being sold, I think we should have less of it. I know that's a bit controversial, but again, if more people are becoming educated and these businesses have to put out this information, then we have access to it. And then there's no real worry about, oh, they're hiding this. So that would, they might be doing illegal stuff, but besides that, if we're assuming that the law is that they must label it 100% accurate, then there's less worry of what we're consuming, and then we can make that choice.
Right.
Especially as doctors, too, is like, if I want to tell my patient, hey, you should go on a active B folate supplement instead of, your normal B12 or whatever. They can do that without being, sued or being worried about it.
Right. Yeah.
And then they can provide their patient with the proper information as to why they were given this. I don't think I've ever been to a doctor's office and said, hey, you should take this, and given any information besides, hey, you should take this.
Oh, yeah. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves is like, a doctor won't even tell you what's really wrong. They won't tell you why they're prescribing this medication, but they'll say, you need to take this. This is what's going to make you feel better. Yeah. And they don't really give you options.
And this applies to NDs as well. There's a lot of NDs who don't want to fix the inherent problem. They just want to cover it up, even if it's herbal. And I am a huge herbal medicine person. Herbal medicine will not fix a diet problem.
Right.
It's just a Band-Aid. It's all just a Band-Aid unless you can fix the bottom of it. Again, this is excluding certain cases like genetic disorders,
which maybe we'll talk about in another
maybe
episode.
We'll get to, but that's a bigger, broader topic on its own.
Oh yeah, I have lots of opinions on the treatment of genetic disorders. So.
Really, yeah. I don't. I just recently learned about some genetic disorders.
Oh really?
Yeah.
So have you ever done like research into like CRISPR? Oh wait, we talked about this.
Yeah, I know about CRISPR and stuff, and I know they just. This is totally irrelevant to what we're talking about. I know they just approved the gene editing software to be used for genetic disorders, specifically like sickle cell anemia.
Yeah, the sickle cell anemia. I saw that too.
Yeah.
Even just specifically with sickle cell anemia. Because like, if it's approved for sickle cell anemia, like, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. But on other things, maybe it's not such a good idea.
Right. Like people are going to start, I want my baby to be blonde with blue eyes, Let me just...
Yeah.
Switch them up.
And then you get into like this weird thing like when this is totally theoretical. This is not true. Just putting this out there. PSA. Not true. If blue-eyed babies are more likely to develop blindness in the future, do we correct that? Or is that too like cosmetic? Or do we not have enough information about you walk such a thin tightrope there? Yeah.
So the whole so important. Not only to just know our, baseline takes on some of this stuff, but it's just, there's such big problems, and there's so many ethical, scientific, religious, I don't know, just from every realm of life in general, there's so many contradictions and so many pathways, lenses, things you can view things from, that you're going to have to pick yours and figure out what you specifically align with. Because one thing that works for someone is not going to work for another, and I think that's the baseline principle of this podcast in general. Every person's different, and there's no one size fits all.
Yeah. This is a little bit random, but we were talking about insurance and what you can and can't prescribe and stuff like that, and it kind of reminded me a little bit about research in the biological field, because there's just this like, you want to research the thing that will have monetary value because you need to make a living.
Right.
but then you also want to be pioneering, but that doesn't usually have monetary value.
No,
yeah.
Being a path maker is not how you live.
Right.
You cannot live in the United States being a pioneer, ironically.
Yeah.
You'd think that the people
American dream.
Yeah, the American dream, you know?
Yeah, but it's so frustrating though, because like the things that people read are things that either totally reaffirm what they believe already, or is just like super drastic and they could have never believed it, and there's no audience for just normal everyday research,
right? Even
just
for
broadens
doctors,
our understanding.
Even for doctors, that's kind of the thing they learn in school, and then they push off. Even me, I'm not even to medical school yet, but I'm already like, I need this information. Oh, I don't need this one. I can study less on that. I can focus more on this. Which, yeah, that helps me with my time management and my retention of useful information. But my gosh, research, we need it in non-pioneering areas sometimes.
Right.
Like, the biggest example that comes to mind for me was, it was a lady. It was a female researcher in Australia, I believe. And she was one of the first people to actually look into the connection between diet and depression. Concretely find a connection between diet and depression.
And you think that, just really quickly, are we talking depression as in like
clinical depression?
Serotonin? Okay.
Yeah. Clinical
deficiencies
that cause depression.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have specified. But this was recent. This was in the 2000s. This is like, I think, oh man, I should have looked this up. Should I just look it up real quick?
Sure, yeah.
Hold on. No, that would take too long. I just won't say that I don't know where it's from. This study was done in the 2000s, and that's within the last 10 years or so. I know we're in 2020, or heading right towards 2024 at the time that we're filming this, but we need more stuff like that.
Yeah.
How does what you eat affect how you think, how you act? Because a lot of people just think it affects how you feel.
Right.
But it impacts every part of you.
And this is like a perfect segue into my research right now. I'm just gonna do like a little.
You want to spit it out there?
I'm just gonna spit it
so
out.
Exciting.
Yeah. So this actually sounds like a lot of research just sounds so mundane when you think about it. Like I'm right now am researching the impact of water source microbiomes on the microbiomes of primates. And if those bacteria actually survive through the gut and if that can actually impact behavior. And that seems like something so small, like, can water have that sort of impact? But it can have huge ramifications, but we don't look into that sort of stuff because it feels rudimentary.
Yeah, it's so small. I mean, I was on YouTube the other day. When I say the other day, it usually means like months ago. But there was a YouTube video. I was watching a guy who was trying to recreate a New York style pizza. He went to like 10 different states in the U.S. and grabbed water from all of them and used the different waters with the same set of ingredients to make pizza, and they all came out different. Mm-hmm. They had different, like, same amount of yeast, but they all rose and fell differently. They all baked differently. Like, people don't realize how small things can have big impacts on the human body because we're so biologically charged.
Right.
In every way.
Yeah. And especially if you're not, like, willing to connect things, like, I would have never thought about, like, the nutritional impact of my research until I talked with Parker about it, because I was just thinking, like, oh yeah, this is like an animal behavior thing, like we're just seeing if this affects primates, but this could lead to something a lot bigger in nutrition and what bacteria does live throughout your gut microbiome, and can water really impact that? I can't say much about what my research has concluded thus far because it's not finished, but just for ethical reasons.
Oh yeah, and she's in a lab. This is not just like two students on PubMed, Google scholaring things. She's actually involved.
Oh yeah,
in a lab.
I get to qubit some feces samples from primates.
Poop. So much fun.
It's so interesting how I feel like everything comes back to poop.
It really does.
Like this is so gross. The amount of stool samples that I've had is insane.
Had done or had to? Oh.
Had done.
Like of yours?
Like me personally.
I had two. That's cool. Do you still have your results?
Yeah.
That's neat. Anyways.
I would show you, but I don't know
No,
if
you
you want to
don't-
know if I have H. pylori.
I had H. pylori.
You did?
I did.
I didn't.
I killed
but they
it.
thought I did.
I killed it, dude.
Would you just
Killed that
chug
stuff.
apple cider vinegar or something?
Hydrochloric acid. Close enough. Close enough. Well, actually, I think I didn't have ulcers, but I had H. pylori, so we upped the acid in my stomach, and it was fine.
Oh, they thought that I had H. pylori, and it wasn't really either, but because I didn't have H. pylori, they were like, oh, so it must be an overly acidic stomach, and I was like, it wasn't.
That over acidity is rare. That's a whole other episode again. I love stomach acidity. It's like my favorite topic.
I feel like they overprescribe. Oh, what's it called?
Antacid. Oh, proton pump inhibitors.
No.
What?
Wait, is it?
Yeah,
is it a
proton
type
pump.
of proton pump inhibitor?
Oh,
It's
it
like
might
there's a
be.
specific name of a medication I'm
Is
thinking
it?
of, and it's like common for people who have ulcers,
All I know is
or
that
like the beginning of ulcers.
Yeah, the general term is proton PPIs.
Yeah, I actually do know proton pump inhibitors. We talk about that. We don't talk about it as a medication. We just talk about it as a concept.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah. Which that's something where I've noticed like the difference is you talk a lot about like you learn about medications and like how those medications work, and I learn about it as like a concept of like the molecular I mean, you also I also learn about it as medications. You also learn about it as molecular biology.
I learn more about the molecular biology side of things than the actual medications.
Oh, okay.
The medication side of things, I will have like my current professor, or not current, I'm on break, but like my anatomy and physiology professor, he's an MD, he's a cardiologist, but he is licensed in acupuncture, in traditional Chinese medicine. So he has both sides of things completely, and he loves talking about the impacts of medications. Because he, as a doctor, he's literally licensed in alternative medicine, but works as a doctor. So he prescribes things from both sides, which is super cool. So if an alternative therapy doesn't work, switch right over to normal medicine. I keep calling it normal medicine. I mean allopathic medicine. It's just a weird word. So
it was omeprazole.
Omeprazole.
Yeah, different types.
Oh, I know Prilosec. I don't know omeprazole.
Prilosec is the
That's their competitor, isn't it?
No, it's the brand name.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense. Man, we were gonna talk about like our hobbies and what we like doing.
We'll talk about that later.
But how did we? Yeah, this is so funny. To be fair, though, our hobbies seem to be this. Like these
That's
are our
true.
goals. Our hobbies kind of take a back seat.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of the day, my hobbies have to be academic hobbies.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard to segue into our everyday hobbies because we've delved so deeply already into what our research and our interests are.
Mm-hmm.
But I like gardening a lot.
Both of us like gardening.
We both
actually,
really like gardening. I didn't know that, actually.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't.
I got a bunch of new plants for Christmas.
Oh, so we're both just plant moms.
Yeah.
I guess we're millennial plant moms. Except we're not millennials, and we're not moms.
So yeah, we talk a lot about like our academics, and that tends to be like what our life revolves around.
Mm-hmm.
But
STEM girlies never get a break.
Unironically
Yes.
though, it's
No, we don't.
horrendous. Like
It's so
all
bad.
of my hobbies, even like my gardening, like both of us garden. It at the end of the day, my gardening is based off of like everything that I'm learning. Like the reason I started gardening was because I was in the plant biology unit of one of my bio classes.
The reason I started gardening is because I did not like buying herbs because they're so expensive.
Oh yeah,
At least the good ones are expensive.
I grow and dry out my own herbs and everything.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Which ones?
I have.
What's your favorite?
Sage. Oh,
I love sage.
Probably sage or thyme, because I feel like
Thyme is nice.
they're just so right now,
They smell
especially
good.
because they're like so wintry.
Yeah, that
In
is
the
true.
summer, it's like dill.
I love dill. Dill is so funny. I grow catnip and calendula. Those are my two right now. Those are the only thing that survived in Florida. I had to move all my plants down there. Those are the only ones that lasted. I have echinacea and Culver's root in my seed incubator right now. I don't know if they'll survive. I left them there.
Oh,
I'm on Christmas break right now, and they're down there outside, and I have no idea how much sunlight or water they're getting. So we'll see.
yeah. I did that over Thanksgiving, and I had to close the window in my dorm because you're not allowed to leave it open, and I didn't know that they weren't going to turn the heat off. So I got back, and 5 of my plants had literally dried out because of how hot and dry it was in our room.
That's nasty.
Yeah, it was really
Poor
sad.
guy. Poor little thing.
I get so attached. only get attached to like my houseplants though, never my
Never
like
your
food
outdoor
plants.
plants?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Well, because maybe that you know that you're gonna eat them.
Yeah,
They're
that's true.
Like I have beans. I'm growing snow peas.
I love snow peas.
They're so good, but they're really expensive.
Yeah.
So I have like 8 snow pea plants that are small, and they don't take that long to grow, and they're really pretty. So I'm not as attached to them as I am my catnip plant, because my catnip, snip it and it grows right back.
Right.
But my beans, I'm gonna eat them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat them things. So we both like gardening. What's something that you do to de-stress, I guess? Like what's your main go-to de-stressing hobby?
It used to be working out, but I realized that it just increased my stress because I power lift.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that increases cortisol levels. So I don't know why I thought that was a good de-stressor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I started powerlifting a year ago. More than a year ago now. And it was so much fun and I loved it and I was seeing so much progress. And then I got lab results back and I have severe adrenal insufficiency because of how much I was demanding cortisol over and over again. So that's another episode. We're going to talk about stress, cortisol levels, and exercise. Y'all be careful. Y'all be careful. Don't be stressing yourself. I've been doomed to 6 months of yoga.
Right.
Not that that's a bad thing, but
I mean, it's so frustrating because it's like, again, everything is a fine line in biology.
Yep.
But it's sort of like that fine line between like exercise does, long term, like decrease your need for cortisol. But in the short term, if you're over exercising, then it will increase your cortisol levels. And obviously we're not experts, but that's sort of what I've seen.
It's personal
research.
experience. And I've seen it we have a lot of, you know what? Kids do have experience. Kids who like to learn have experience.
Yeah.
And I think we've gotten that mainly in exercise and nutrition, of course, because we both lived 20 years. That's enough to have some experience in food and exercise, right? Yeah.
I mean, I only just started. Well, no. I
You
only
don't
just
even know.
started exercising for real.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally screwed myself there in the beginning. And I'm learning from it now, thank goodness. So I'm going to have to... I think the thing I'm concluding from my own mistakes is that I will know how to better care for a patient in the future.
Right.
And that's the positive outlook that I have. Even though I don't actually have a positive outlook because I'm a massive pessimist.
Me too, actually.
I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best.
Another fun fact about us, both of us just happen to be pessimists.
Yep. Okay, I know we're both science-obsessed nerds, but what would you choose to study if you couldn't do anything science-related?
Probably philosophy or theology.
Ooh.
Because I just love like learning about how we think and like why we think what we think. So like epistemology, like how do we know what we know? Where do things come from? I don't know.
Where do babies come from?
Dang
it, that's biology.
Dang it! Why does it all lead back?
It's always lead back. It's all full circle moment.
I actually wanted to be an obstetrician for a while.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I think you wanted to be everything.
For real.
At one point.
I wanted to be a farmer, but I think I just like the idea of being sustainable.
Yes. Yeah, that was going to be my answer is what I would do if I wasn't going to be a doctor would be, I think I would go in agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
Not like mass production agriculture, but like homemaker agriculture, which I know is kind of becoming a trend recently. Oddly enough.
On TikTok?
Yeah.
I don't have TikTok, but I think I've seen some stuff.
It happened after the whole cottagecore
movement
in 2020, where people were glorifying the farm and cottage life. Cottagecore is for rich people.
Oh, for real?
It really is. Like, the actual pure picture of cottagecore is for rich people. Hot take. But I really, really like the idea, like you said, of being sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with the whole family aspect of my life, if I wasn't being a doctor, I would put everything I have into my family.
Mm-hmm.
Which I still am. But my career is a part of what I'm doing for my family currently. Yeah. And if I didn't have that, then it would all be my family. So.
I'd probably marry
Or
rich.
architecture. Marry rich. Yes. Dude, I wanted to be in architecture when I was little.
You did?
I did.
That's so cool.
Architecture was awesome. All right, what are your favorite extracurricular activities?
I was very excited for this question because I am so proud of this organization that I started, which basically we just reconnect alumni back to my old high school. That's literally like basically all we do. We like make events and stuff, and that's like my pride and joy other than academics.
When you said organization, I totally thought you were going to talk about, like, OCD type organization skills.
Oh.
Which I was like,
no.
I didn't know you had that.
No. I do
No, but
not.
now that makes more sense. Yeah, I just went to an event that she hosted the other day, and it was really great. We went to see our old high school's performance of A Christmas Carol, and it was great. And we had a huge group, too. What was it?
It was like 20 people.
Really?
Yeah. And we only have like 100 people in the school.
It's not a big school, so that was a great turnout.
Yeah. It was all our graduating class, though. Like, we definitely need to extend it.
My extracurricular is technically another curricular, because I'm doing a health counselor certification course.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a year-long health counselor. I just said that. It's a year-long health counselor certification course where I'm basically it does very basic, minimal information on actual health science. It's not biology, anatomy focused. It's more like patient focused. How do you create a patient profile? How to process information, how to read blood tests and stuff. That's the main reason I did it, is because I will learn how to read blood tests and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's super cool. Inflammatory markers and such. Love that kind of stuff. But that's still curricular, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because I was going to say...
extra.
Yeah, I was going to say my research lab, but that's curricular. And then
That's true. Okay, so I have my health counselor, and she's in a research lab. That's our extracurricular. That is still technically curricular.
Yeah, I still get credits for it.
Yeah, let's go with that. Okay. So then I guess my actual extracurricular used to be the gym. Now it's going to be yoga. I just flipped my hair like a yoga girl, except my hair is tied up, so I didn't.
That's what I was about to say. Your hair's in a clip.
I'm lying. I'm hiding behind the fact that we don't have a camera on. Trying to actually think, what do I do? I used to paint a lot. I used to love painting, and now I'm just a school child. That's it. And I'm also a wife, so I cook dinner quite often. But not because I'm a wife, but because I like cooking. I must specify.
I actually love cooking too, but I primarily make my boyfriend cook.
Really? He cooks?
He's really good at cooking.
I cook
like
impressive.
1 or 2 things for him.
Well, that's still
He's also
so
really
impressive.
good at baking.
See, I can't bake. I can't bake for garbage. I used a boxed cake mix to make cookies.
Wait,
first
that sounds so good.
First time I did it, it ended up great. They worked fantastic. And I don't know what I did differently the second time, but they turned out like little brownie turds. I don't know. So my extracurricular activity is not baking.
And that's the end of the podcast.
Yeah! What was the other question?
Oh, what classes you're taking this semester? Like, next semester.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm taking winter classes.
Here's what I found.
Oh, thank you, Siri.
We're both taking winter classes.
Oh, you're taking winter classes?
All year round.
Oh, yeah,
All year round, baby.
So we should talk a little bit about our winter classes and then our future classes.
Yeah. So we're both, just for context, both of us are in accelerated degree programs.
Mm-hmm.
So I will graduate 2025.
Me too.
Oh, we'll both graduate 2025.
Spring 2025?
I think mine's in August. But I finish classes in spring, though. But my graduation is August. Something like that. It's something weird. But regardless...
Oh, like August of 2026?
5.
Oh, so like early.
When's your graduation?
Wait. August. And then there's... Yeah. My graduation's May 2025.
Yeah, so you graduate before me.
Oh, so like the following...
The following August.
Okay.
So you're in the spring,
I thought the
and I
previous
graduate late
August.
summer. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we're both in accelerated courses. We're going to graduate sometime in 2025, which means that we both have summer and winter all year round classes. I think my only break is in the winter. I get 1 day off for Thanksgiving. It sucks. And then winter I get the 3 weeks like usual for college, which is nice. So my next class is actually college algebra, and I'm pooping my pants just thinking about it. I don't know why I have to take it. It's part of my degree, I guess. Medical school requires that you have a certain level of math. Y'all, my mommy always tells me not to undersell my abilities, but man, am I bad at algebra.
My mommy always tells me.
My mommy says I'm special, but I say that I'm terrible at math. So I'm not exactly excited for that. But in the following months, I have Introduction to Sustainability, which goes into sustainable business practices and such, and running I think it's just a general ethics and sustainability class, which is pretty basic, but it's interesting. And then right after that, I have traditional Chinese medicine, and my professor is an acupuncturist. And my classmates said that they learned acupuncture techniques in that class, which I'm so excited for because I know nothing about acupuncture. I know the basic principles, but I'm really excited to learn more about that.
Random fun fact about me, I've acupunctured a dog. I shadowed a vet.
What?
I shadowed a vet, and they do acupuncture on their dogs.
That is so funny. Wait, that's so interesting.
Yeah, because I've always been skeptical of acupuncture because I always thought like,
it's an energy-based practice. I've always had weird skepticism around energy-based practices.
So I always thought it was like a placebo effect. Like you think it's gonna work, so it does.
But it's a dog.
But it works on a dog.
Yeah.
So like I'm wondering if there's something like nerve.
Yeah.
Like they think of it as energy.
Right.
But
it's actually yeah, that's the thing. That's one thing that I always say to people who are skeptical about my choice to be an ND is that because a lot of people assume that it's all spiritual practices, but my best description of it or explanation is that all spiritual concepts have a biological equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
So like the meridians that you talk about, the blocked channels of chakra in Chinese medicine can be attributed to literal blockages that you're physically poking out. Like it's
like lymph.
Like the movement of lymph fluid and blood clots and any kind of coagulation, anything like that. Poking a nerve that impacts another area of your body. There's a biological explanation for most phenomenon. Phenomenon. Phenomenons. Is it phenomenons?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Phenomena. We're gonna go with that.
Okay. Perfect. I'm taking some winter classes right now. A gen ed and then like another gen ed. So that's fun. It's literally just a writing class. And it's so easy.
What?
Like we learned how to use commas correctly the first week. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why am I taking this? And
because it costs money and they get more money the more classes we take.
Yeah.
That's why I'm taking math. It's not even okay, I understand that I have to take math. I'm not just a whiny little baby. I have to take 3 math classes.
Yeah, I had to take a lot. I had to take 2.
I'm confused.
Yeah. It's really stupid.
I thought I had gotten out of that. And I had to take physics.
Me too.
Physics was actually a requirement for my to go to medical school, so I'm not excited.
That's why I had to take physics.
Yeah, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, so obviously I'm in my research lab, which is technically a class. I get credits for it. And then the class that I'm most actually I should talk about the other classes first and then the class I'm most excited for. I have to take organic chemistry. Do you have to take organic chemistry?
I do. I have to take 3 I have to do organic chemistry 1 and 2 and then 1 with lab and then 2 with lab.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically I
might have a third
finished
one, but I think I might be thinking of general chemistry.
I hated general chemistry.
Because I have to do general chemistry and general chemistry lab.
Yeah.
I have quite a few science-based classes that I didn't actually think I would. I'm happy. Sorry, continue.
Oh, I'm also taking cognitive psychology for like the psych major part. I'm not like that excited for it. I've gotten like less and less into psychology and more into biology, and I heard this professor sucks. So
that's why
I'm so nervous.
I know I heard my math professor's not exactly the most fun person on the earth, and I know you're not supposed to assume things about people you've never met, but professors usually.
Are your professors on Rate My Professors?
No.
Oh, because your
my classes have like maximum 6 students total. I go to a tiny little school. It's a big online presence, but the in-person stuff is minuscule.
Yeah. I have to take insects and human society.
Insects?
Yeah.
Like bugs?
Yeah. What other insects?
What? I was making sure you weren't saying insects. Because that's why it didn't make sense.
What kind of class would that be? We just learned it's like half an anthropology class. Like, how have they had sex through the ages?
Oh my gosh, no! That sounds like something you would see in a liberal arts college.
I feel like
I'm sorry.
My brother goes to a liberal arts college.
My brother probably will too.
Actually, I would totally take an anthropology course about like sex through the ages. Like, I feel like that'd be so cool. Like the different ways they've like tried to like have birth control.
No.
Not try to have sex, like different types of birth control and like
okay,
condoms
that
and
bridges
stuff.
into hormonal health too.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
I would be interested in.
There was this plant that was completely eradicated because it possibly decreased the likelihood of, I think it messed with your hormones. I'm not exactly sure, so I'm not gonna like make any claims.
Yeah, no.
But it was so interesting. Like it was completely eradicated because every woman would try to take it because they didn't want to get pregnant.
When was this? Like
ancient Rome.
Oh, I know. Okay, I don't know the plant. I know the story.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but of course I can't remember the plant.
Yeah. It was like something that sounded like dripping heart or like sexy time
Horny
controller. Hornweed?
Horny goat weed?
Horny goat.
That's literally an actual plant.
Horny go.
No, goat weed.
Oh, horny
goat.
goat.
Yeah.
That's even better.
It's awful. But that still exists. It's not eradicated. So I don't think that's it.
Yeah, probably not.
Anyways.
Oh, the
class that you're excited about.
The one I'm most excited for is neuroethology, which is like the neural basis of animal behavior, which is like exactly what I want to study, but it's with this professor that like absolutely despises me. I think.
You think?
Because I met with him one time to like talk about his lab because he has a lab on campus and I really wanted to join it, and he was just like so mean.
He was like, way? Like, attitude-wise?
I told him about how I wanted to study evolution, and like a lot of the reason why I got into evolution was because I went to a really small Christian high school and they taught us about how evolution is not true. So then that got me interested, like, oh, that's so interesting that like the majority of science believes it is, but my teacher is coming up with reasons why it's not. So I researched it really aggressively and was like, it seems like my teacher might be incorrect. And then got really interested in evolution from there. And he said, oh, so the only reason you want to study evolution is to like spite your teacher? And I was like, no.
It was just like... That's just how you started into it.
And
that's
now I'm
so
like, really
weird.
interested
And he didn't want you in his lab or something? He accept you?
He ghosted me afterwards. Yeah.
Good grief, man.
Like, maybe I did something wrong, but I hope
shouldn't
not.
be professors.
Yeah, especially I go to a research university, and half of them are there just for the research, not because they want to be a professor. But they have to because it's a requirement. Like, you have to teach at least one class if you're a research professor.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to do?
Yeah.
Research professor?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Do you have a certain school in mind that you would want to... Like, ideal. What would you want to be a research professor at?
Maybe Northeastern.
Ooh.
But it's really...
Ooh, that's a big boys.
Yeah.
You can do it.
I would do, like, Brown, but I don't think I can do an Ivy League.
Why not?
Because it's, like, not only difficult to graduate from an Ivy League, it's even more difficult to become a professor there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that. That makes it all the more impressive.
Yeah.
The research that comes from there.
And usually people who, like, teach at like, as a professor went to an even better school as an undergrad because I don't really know why. I've just, like, noticed that phenomenon. Probably because they have to get a really good education if they want to be a professor at a really good school.
Right.
So, like, you hear, like, the people who teach at my school, which is literally not even that good of a school, all went to, like, Cambridge or, like, Harvard, all these, like, elite schools, and now they're teaching there instead of, like,
yeah,
Cambridge
I had an online teacher at my tiny school graduate from, like, Cornell.
Yeah, it's
and,
crazy.
Like, you were teaching online, I think it was nutrition.
Did they have their doctorate?
Yeah.
So they're like a dietitian or their doctorate in nutrition?
Doctor of nutrition.
Okay.
Yeah, so a doctorate degree in the area of nutrition.
So, yeah, regardless of the types of professors that we have, we're really excited to just kind of, like, learn new things. No matter who's teaching it, you can always sort of chew on the meat and spit out the bones.
Yeah. Yeah, I would always say eat the fish, spit out the bones. So we've got the we've got the same life motto. Sweet. Yeah, so this episode today has been a little bit more conversational than most of our future ones might be. Our motto going forward is going to aim for research, conversation. So some of it will be individual with just me, and some of it will be individual with just Emma on, like, our respective topics. Because obviously, I am not a neuroscience nut. This one is.
And I am not a naturopathy nut.
You're better at it than most.
Well, I didn't even know what people meant by toxins. I had to research that.
Oh, toxins are so cool. They're not cool, but they're so cool, if that makes any sense. How the liver deals with toxins is super cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, the things that we learn in class are going to be transferred over in research form to our future episodes, and we hope that in the next 2 weeks here, we will have our new episode out, and it would be great if you would tune in for that one too, because it's going to be a more focused topic. We were just, we were chatting it up today.
Oh, yeah. And this one's in lieu of the holiday season. We were going to do one a little bit about nutrition and exercise and New Year's resolutions and what good goals look like and what to avoid in the goals that you're creating.
Oh, yeah, because there's so much mess around New Year's when it comes to information and misinformation. It's so hard to navigate that field, so hopefully what we can give you will simplify it and make you more likely to stick with some of the changes you want to make.
Yes, so Parker will get into a little bit about like good nutrition habits and bad nutrition habits, and I'm going to get a little bit into the psychology of goal creation and mediation.
Yes, so we're going to go psychology, nutrition, and exercise, the trifecta of good habits.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. We had so much fun creating this episode, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we do.
If you'd like to learn more, follow us on Instagram at studentsparks.ep, where we'll post all kinds of information and episode updates.
Don't forget to check in every other week to learn more about what it is like to be a student of neuroscience
And naturopathy.